and outwardly you should be an ocean of calm, a placid lake, undisturbed. What absolute tosh! I'm going to share something with you, and it comes from a few years back where I was at a mind, body, spirit event festival thing. I'd been asked to do some talks and workshops, and I had a pitch, and it was a really good day actually, really good day, very well organised. And one of the things I was talking about and sharing with people was some thoughts and ideas about meditation, which have grown out of my bringing together aspects of hypnosis, self-hypnosis, and meditation. People will tell you there's a difference. It's subtle. It's subtle. I don't actually think there's that much difference, other than one, you're using the state for something, the other, you're letting the state do what it wants to do. Anyway, that's a digression. I'd been there. I was having a wonderful day. I met some beautiful, beautiful people. We're all chatting and sharing, and I made some nice connections. Great response in the workshop. I couldn't get any more people in the room, so it was wonderful. I was in a good place, and this chap comes along with his partner. I'll say partner. I don't know if they were married or not. And you do get it at these events. You get the holier than thous who kind of walk around all very kind of. They're either about 12, thinking they're enlightened beings, or they're kind of a lot older and kind of look like they're holding on to an era that they're never really part of. And I shouldn't judge. I'm not judging. You do what you like. Anyway, talking of judging, this chap comes up, starts talking to me. Now, I don't know about you, but if I feel good, if I'm feeling happy and whatnot, I express it. I let it out. I share the love, and I was having a great day. So that was me. I was like, yes, I do this, and I've been doing this, and it's great to hear you. What's your thing? He was like Tai Chi man, and I thought we were having a great conversation. But there are certain conversations that just, they disappoint me. You're engaged. Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. It's wonderful, and it feels rich, it feels connecting. And then suddenly the person you're talking to goes, can you hear that bell? I don't know if the mic's picking it up. I live in the largest landlocked county in England, and we have a town pirate. I digress. One of those conversations where suddenly the person goes, yes, but you're wrong. I've had it with street preachers and things in the past. You think you're having a great chat with them, and then they just, oh yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong. And it's like, oh please, let's let go of this wrong or right thing, yeah? If it works for you, if you want to call yourself a witch and you want to rub pumpkins once a year against a frog called Derek, and then plant the pumpkin in the ground and allow it to decompose, letting go of all the tragedy in your life, great. And if as that pumpkin rots, you feel amazing, awesome, and also you're fertilizing the soil. And let's face it, that's where you put your shit. So I'm having this conversation. I'm energized. I feed with the energy of a room, and I'm loving it. And this guy goes, no, you're wrong, and your energies are all wrong, and you're too animated. You're too to be somebody that actually does this stuff. I have been, I'm not going to say religiously every day of my life, but 99 days out of 100, I do some form of meditation practice, some sort of energy work, some sort of magical practice, and I'm always working on myself and my stuff. Let me tell you, when I first started doing this, I was quite young when I got into stuff. I was about 8, 9. When I first started meditation, I would never perform. I didn't like getting up in front of people. The more I did meditation, the more I found this this center and this strength to be able to step up in front of people and do that. I spent 20 years of my life as a professional magician, musician. I've run retreats, workshops, and guided people. I've done talks, and I put that down to the fact that I started meditating, and it stripped away the fears. It stripped away, and as I got more into magic and spirituality and eventually Druidry, it peels back the layers. But in this guy's eyes, I should have been Prozac line, Mr. Chilled, Mr. Yeah, I teach meditation. It's really good for you. Yeah. Oh, please, what a load of bollocks. What? If you're working on yourself spiritually, magically, through meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, you are, as I've just said, peeling back the layers of the onion skin. And as you do that, that which is not you gets removed, it gets put away, it gets put aside, it is left behind. And what emerges is more you, more your natural self. So yes, if you are naturally somebody who is placid, which I find quite an artificial state of being, to be honest. I'm always slightly suspect of people who are constantly zenned out, unless you're a monk, shaved your head, and you're up on top of a hill somewhere. And even then, you can't tell me there aren't things that just piss you off. Sorry. But if it's in you to be like that, then the more you work on yourself, the more the falsities are stripped away, the more you will step into that place, because that's just that's your soul level being. I don't think everybody's soul level is horizontal. I don't think everybody's soul expresses itself as a stoned hippie, because that's basically what it felt like this guy wanted. A stoned hippie teacher guy, a new guru that's like, yeah. Anyway, I was sorry to this. I was like, I'm really interested in that. I'm just wondering why you thought that I should not be expressive and have energy and vitality, because that's another thing. If you're doing energy work, if you're doing meditation, working with the body's flow of energy, then surely you would have an energy about you. You would have a passion, not a pretentious solitude of like, It's a really bad impression. And if you're listening to this and you are one of those people who on your journey has just found that it brings you to a still lake of placid peace, that's wonderful. But there's a lot of people who just pretend it when they go out. But if that's who you are, that's amazing, because that's who you are, and that's beautiful. I didn't tick his box. And it's really weird, because a large part of my journey has been through meditation, also through using hypnosis and trance, but also very much inspired by the mystical approach. And certainly, I'm not a Christian, but not that there's an issue if you are. If you're here, awesome, great to have you here. But I am deeply inspired. The big part of my journey and study from my 20s into my 30s into my early 40s was Druidry. And with that, I kind of go so far with what you can learn in this world, and then you kind of go, well, what next? So I went, well, there's this crossover period where early Druidry bleeds into Celtic Christianity, and there's a new Celtic spiritual expression. And so what is it there? Now, when you look into that, you also realise that a large part of the Celtic Christianity stuff comes across from the Desert Fathers and Mothers. So it's not as native as people might think, but that's okay. It obviously spoke to the people here, so it must have rang a bell or two. A bit like our pirate. One of the things I've learned about on my journey, and whether it's you by yourself, you in ritual, you in conversation. Some of the most beautiful and powerful moments you will discover are those moments of silence, the stillness. It's in that stillness that we start to listen. And a lot said about listening. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they're all talking about the virtues of listening. But you can't listen with judgment. If you listen with judgment, you're filtering whatever you're hearing. You bring bias into that. You're filtering what you're hearing. You're not hearing. In stillness, we sense the presence of the mystery. Whatever you call that. Some people call it God. Some will call it the gods, God and the goddess, the great mystery, the great spirit. Do you know what? We're all wrong. It's too big a thing. We keep giving it labels, and it's too big for labels. If you think you know the divine, then we can have an experience of the divine. That's the most amazing thing. But yeah, I remember being liberated from the pursuit of worrying about what I called my concept of what all is, when I read in a book. I wish I could remember which book it was. It was a great book, actually. There's a few around, so sometimes you lose the reference in your head. But basically, it was talking about Kabbalah, and that a wise Kabbalist once said that you can waste a lifetime trying to understand or name God. There's something special out there. We're part of it. That's all we need to know. Why waste a lifetime? It's so liberating. If I wake up and it's God, then it's God. If I wake up and it's, oh, great mystery, it's great mystery. Hey, I'm still not right, but I know what I'm talking about because I've had experiences. So, the power of stillness, the power of that brings us into the moment. It brings us into the awareness of the presence of that which is greater than ourselves. And there are books and books and books and books and books and books and courses, lots of courses that will teach you and guide you. And one of my things, and I think this comes, and I was listening to Danny Buckler, Right Side of Mad. If you get a chance, check out Danny's channel, because he really talks some great sense. Not met the guy yet, but really, really just, yeah, it's a great channel. Thank you, Danny, if you're watching this. And it turns out that Danny also has done magic, and so yeah, it's one of those things that with magic, when you're performing it, that you can get really complicated about it. But if what you're doing is so complicated that all you have to do is pay your attention onto it, how can you truly be present with people? How can you be fully there with people if your brain is completely locked into having to remember the sequence of doing this, that, and the other to make the trick happen? So one of the things I've always taken from the practice of conjuring, close-up magic, performance magic, is the idea of simplicity. The simpler something is, the more you can engage with the experience of sharing it or participating in it. And I really, truly think that, I remember when I first picked up the Golden Dawn system of magic and started looking at Crowley's stuff, and it's there, and it's all, it does what it does. It says what it says on the tin. It's great. It's great. But I found along the way, and this I think partly comes from my druidry, it certainly comes from the influence of the Celtic Christian mysticism, but it also comes from performance. if I'm having to remember this, that, and the other, and make sure I pick the right thing up and wave it around in the right direction at the right time when the moon's stuck up somebody's, you know what I'm saying. How much am I fully present with the intent and the experience that I'm trying to create? And I'm not just saying this from the outside looking in. I'm speaking from having been on the inside looking out. One of the most powerful moments I have had, and it was, I'm going to say it was terrifying actually at the time. I have this irrational fear of water at night. It doesn't have to be deep. I could have walked through it in the daylight. It might be that deep. It might be, say, a big puddle. Yeah, big puddle, size of a car. That deep. And I know because I've walked through it. The moment it's dark and that water turns black, it sets me on edge. Can't walk across bridges at night. In fact, I struggle crossing water at the best of times, but I say struggle. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not like, water. I'm just like, let's get this over and done with. So I wanted to know, there is something about that water at night that provoked something in me, and I wanted to understand and know that, and I wanted to get past whatever that was. I could have gone down many different routes, you know. I could have ritualized the whole thing to and I got symbols and all the usual claddings and decorations. I could have gone down the Wiccan route, kind of done that, a bit less technical. But no, what I did was I went down when it was night. It was a beautiful full moon. I still remember it now. And I went down but where I was living at the time, there was a river ran on these Welsh rivers, so it's kind of different depths of not deep to really deep, beautiful, and a little waterfall, and a lovely little bit of land by that. So I went down there and I set myself up. I took literally just a bowl and a candle, and I sat there meditating whilst the sun was going down, and I could feel this kind of, you know, when you walk into a space and it feels like there's something a bit negative in the air, some sort of, I have no idea. So I'm there, and I literally, I opened circle, did it in a druidic fashion, so I'm not pentacling and I'm not doing all that. I literally honoured the spirits of the land, the spirits of the place, and then I called out to the dark water and called up whatever that was. Very simple. If I'd been fumbling over words, scripts, rituals, having to try and remember stuff, which incense, which this, that, and the other, I may have missed the huge shadowy presence that loomed up out of the water, that came all the way up to the edge of the circle and stood there before me, to the point where I'm like, ooh, I just want to banish and run away, because it was like whatever that uncomfortableness was, it was here. It was big, and I'm not that, you know. I'll be honest. I was shitting it. I was not a happy Rob at that point in my journey. It seemed like a good idea before I started it, but the point of this is it was simple. There was nothing complicated about it. And I won't go into what went on then, because that was the real working part of it, other than to say by the end of that I was stripped naked and sat in the water with the moon casting down upon me. So in my most vulnerable state, in the very water that before I did this thing literally set me on edge, really made me just want to not be there. So simplicity. I think the simpler your practice, the more you're going to get from it. It's just me. This is my thought. I'm sharing this, and if you like this stuff, do stay with me, because this is the kind of thing I'm going to be sharing. And I'll be whittering and talking and sharing bits. At the moment, we're just doing like some shorts, and then not shorts, like that's shots in it, not shorts, but you know, little videos. And then once a week on a Saturday, I'm going to be having a ramble with you and sharing some of the madness that's been my life. In only purpose being that I hope that you pick something from it, even if it's something that you disagree with. Do let me know. You know, comment, share. I'm really interested in like the conversation. But stick with it. It's good to have you along. You can tell. See, I'm smiling. It's always good. Simplicity. Terrified by the water thing. Finally ended up. I could never have sat naked in that water. And when we approach stillness, stillness is the most simplest of things. It's not. It is, but it's not. So why would we complicate it? Why would we complicate approaching that place? Just why? So I'm going to invite you just to join me with something for a few moments. I'm going to start by asking you, we'll take a few breaths together. And then we'll take it from there. Don't do this if you're driving, because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and it could be messy. Yeah. So come back to it. Come back to it, watch it again, do this bit once you're not driving or operating machinery or something. So let's take 3 deep breaths together. Yeah. And you may choose to close your eyes and relax on the first breath. You may choose to close your eyes, relax on the second breath, or you may wait and choose to close your eyes and relax on the third breath. But whenever you close your eyes and relax, I know you can get the most out of this short little interaction. Take a deep breath in, hold it, breathe out. Taking a second deep breath in, hold it, breathe out. And the third wonderful deep breath in. Hold it. Breathe out. And if you've not done so already, just allow your eyes to close. As you return to your natural breath, that gentle natural rhythm and tide. And just as you're breathing, you can notice the stillness between breaths. As you relax, you can notice the colourful patterns on your eyelids. Have you ever noticed that if you try and hold one of those colours, those shapes on your eyelids in place, they just subtly shift and move? And you can continue trying to hold on to them. As you breathe, listening to me and relaxing, just become aware of that place that feels most comfortable and most still within you. Now, I don't know where you begin to notice that. It could be your toe, could be your knee, could be your back, be a point on the top of your head, it could be the tip of your ear, wherever you are beginning now to notice stillness. It may be that as you begin to notice that stillness, you become aware of the stillness around you. Even though there's all that energy moving at different frequencies, there is a stillness there also, a constant. And as you become aware of that stillness, that comfort, that calm, I want you to take that sensation, that awareness of that where is still and calm within you. If it helps, imagine it as a colour, as an energy, but just start to breathe it. Just breathe it. So as you breathe in, you draw it up through the body, and as you breathe out, you draw it down through the body. And just start now to allow that feeling of stillness, of comfort and stillness to begin to spin and flow within you. Just with your breath. And allow the movement in stillness to build. So as that stillness, as you become more aware of it, allow that sense of that feeling, that sensation, that awareness to spin faster and faster to the point where you do not have to think about this. It just automatically spins all by itself. And as that spins and flows, take a nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, allow yourself just to drop into a place that's even more peaceful and still than that. Notice how your breath shifts and changes. And now I want you to think of a place. Just think of a place that for you captures that sense of stillness, of peace. And when you think about that place, where do you feel that stillness and peace now? Just allow it to flow with the rest. Just take a few more moments to remember that place of stillness. How this feels now in this moment. And then we'll take one more deep breath in. As you do that, just bring yourself back up. Be here now, be with this, in this place, with you and me, here, sharing. I'm going to stop there for today. Let me, if you did that little exercise at the end, just drop it in. Just let me know how it feels. Drop it into the comments. It's not that difficult, is it? In fact, you could say it was quite simple. You can do this for yourself. If you do that every day, 5 minutes, or every time you get a chance, it doesn't take that long. Just think how much more you can come from that place of stillness. But that, remember, does not mean you have to falsely be this lake of plasticity. Is that a word? Did I just make that up? Probably. Just because the lakes on the inside are calm and still doesn't mean you still can't be expressive in the world. If everybody that ever meditated became just this calm, placid, then there'd be a lot of less effective people in the world. Because everyone would just be like, yeah. And yeah is good. Yeah, when there's chaos going around, is even better. But living a life with passion is also a beautiful thing. Much love. Thank you. Many blessings. And I hope to catch you again soon. Hope we can share this time. Like I say, every Saturday, if you've enjoyed this, just make a note for yourself. Put it on the notification thing, and then when it goes up, you can see it. Eventually, I'm going to do them live, but I'm going into a new job soon, so I've got to find how that sits before I promise you something I can't promise. But once I can promise it, hey, we'll do these live and have a talk some stuff. It'd be great. Anyway, take care. See you soon. Bye bye.